What's happening? My name's Samuel Leeds. I got really bad news for you on this video, and I've also got really good news on this video. So I would really badly suggest that you watch the video until the end, because the good news is very good, and I've got a gift for you today. Okay, so number one, bad news. 2022, I believe, is going to be a very challenging, tough, hard year. We went into lockdown in 2020. We were told it would be 3 weeks. It's now almost 2 years later. Now we're about to enter 2022, and there is talk of more lockdowns coming to this country in England. In Wales and Scotland, there are very, very tough restrictions. There's many countries across the planet which are in full lockdown. And I've just got back from Dubai. I'm in the UK. I've been speaking to a lot of very, very high up, well-researched, learned people who think that 2022 is going to be another very, very challenging year. So that's the bad news. How's that going to affect you? Well, for a start, we know what happens when there are lockdowns and restrictions and challenging times with the pandemic. What happens is that a lot of companies go bust. There is massive, massive redundancies and also an overwhelming amount of uncertainty, which means that people have mental health issues. That means people either are losing their jobs or are fearful that they might lose their jobs. So that's the bad news. And I don't see this problem going away anytime soon. I remember when last year we went into 2021 and we were thinking, let's leave all this virus stuff behind us and move into a new year. And what happened? We still had a year of restrictions and fear and redundancies and recession. And I think the same thing's going to happen again as we move into 2022. People that are just hoping and praying and crossing their fingers that everything's going to blow over and this is going to be, a problem of the past, and 2022 is going to be all new, will probably be disappointed. So that's the bad news. What is the good news? Well, the good news is that throughout the pandemic and the lockdowns, there were more people becoming millionaires than I've ever seen before in my lifetime. And I have just released a whole new book. Now, this book is a thick book. Not a slim book, it's a thick book. It's got 30 chapters in it, and every chapter is dedicated to one of my success students. Now, this was written through the lockdown. This book is about stories from people throughout the lockdown who've becoming financially free and property millionaires through the pandemic. So what's the good news? The good news is that you can become financially free even through these restrictions. I mean, with these stories, we got people like Lawton Hopwood. Lawton Hopwood did his financial freedom challenge when? In a lockdown. When did these guys, look, we've got like Endrit, who's completely financially free. When did me and Endrit work together? It was during a lockdown where everything was closed. These stories are all stories about people, there's 30 of them, that have become financially free or absolutely killed it in their property business through lockdown. Let me tell you something, everything has changed. The rules have changed. If you read my first Success Students book, which was volume 1, it was completely different. The stories, the strategies, the techniques were completely different to volume 2. So this is the good news. The good news is, number one, that you can succeed in property like never before during redundancies, lockdowns, restrictions, fear, recession. You can win big time in property. The second thing is, as it's just after Christmas and we're going into a new year, as a happy new year gift, I wanted to give you a copy of this book. It's a big thick book, and I think you're gonna really enjoy reading it. Evans Willie's in there. Some of these guys are famous as well. Like we got my man Ry Beaumont. He's part of a boy band. Very, 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 very successful. Also got my friend Crept the rapper. We've got rugby players, football players, Kevin Stewart, former player for Liverpool. So there's people through the pandemic that were my students that will be becoming successful by investing strategically in property, to property development, buy, refurbish, refinance through the pandemic, and we're doing it well and up to date. They're in here. Also, there's stories of people that were literally almost homeless and got started out and became successful. We've got people that were very young as well, like my man here, Ali. Ali came to me, he was 19, 20 years old. Now he's done dozens of deals. We've got people like David Taylor, who came to me. He'd been in construction and property for a long time, transitioned into his own property investment business. He's now, he owns a castle. He owns so many pieces of land. He's building houses from scratch. So this is the newest book on property investment that you can read and you can be inspired by and see what people are doing today. Not a couple of years or a few years ago, today. And I want to give you a free copy of this. So how am I going to do that? Well, this is going to be for a very limited amount of time, but I'm going to leave an Amazon link in the description and you can get the Kindle version. Even if you don't own a Kindle, you can get it on your iPhone or your computer or any device. You can get the Kindle version and you can get it now for free. And it will sit on your phone, on your computer, on your Kindle forever and ever and ever. You can keep it forever and it is completely free as a gift from me to you. But make sure you do it right now because this Amazon are only going to be able to, they only let me give away things for free on Amazon for a certain, a very short amount of days. So do it now. Get your copy, be inspired, and learn how these people have made money in property through the pandemic and how you can too going into 2022. Thanks so much. I'll leave a link in the description and I'll see you soon. Happy New Year.